It was supposed to be him behind the guest house, and the people went on to offer food and offered to watch the interactions between them and the show.
So the neighbours? Yeah, that's this one. So Sonia.
Oh, Gail helps.
Gail. Teardrop gives you money. Now, towards the end, Teardrop does something which is potentially endangering him or putting himself at great risk to help her. What does he do? What does Teardrop do at the end?
Finds the group that's beating Lee out, walks them to the shop, and sees the building.
Yeah.
And then gets him.
Teardrop again. Okay. Knowing that he's putting himself in jeopardy and in danger. Okay, so how long have we got? Where is my thing on the jeopardy? He came in and rescued her when they were deciding what to do with her. Okay, I want to go over the next part fairly quickly. So what we're looking at here, community and family ties.
It's an inbred town somewhere.
Relevance? No. Get rid of it. Now, community and family ties matter more than following the law. We've seen that. Here the people in the landscape can be seen as equally untamed, but also equally vulnerable. Explain. So basically what we want to do is work out how it is that the land and the people are untamed, and then how it is that the land and the people are vulnerable. So, okay, how can the people be considered untamed? I'm going with this table. Lockie. How can the people be considered untamed? Give me something a bit more specific. Okay, so you can throw me some adjectives up at this. How would you describe these sort of people?
Rugged and uncontrolled.
Yeah, cool. They're rugged, rough, cold and hard, really. So if you think about the idea about them being cold and hard, they know that, the women know that Ree's in trouble. You right? Are you alright, Caleb? So they know that Ree's in trouble. That doesn't move them to help her at all. So you could describe them as rough, cold and hard people, which equally applies to the land. So what we need to then work out is, well, where is the vulnerability with these people? How, in what sense could they be considered vulnerable?
Is it because they're untamed, they're more unstable?
Yeah, good, nice. So they're fairly unstable, and we literally see that with the mother. That hard living that they're subjected to has pushed her over the edge, and I think she's described as her parts are scattered all the way to the winds, or in all the winds, something along those lines. So yeah, it does, it pushes them over the edge. Some people it breaks them. How else can they be considered vulnerable?
Since they insist on living in isolation, they can't get back up from the larger society.
Cool, so you're isolated and everything that entails, you don't have the kind of backup. Okay, and their lives are precarious. Dancing around there. Yeah, I mean, they're either going to end up in jail or dead or shot like Jessup was, and he was high on crank and things. The other fact that they are subsistence living. It means one thing goes wrong, then you can potentially lose it all, as we see with Ree. One thing's happened, Jessup's vanished, and they're potentially going to be out. Okay. How can we describe the land as vulnerable? Yep.
I don't know if that's what it means, but there's no it's got such harsh weather, and there's not fertilizer, and they're going to grow their own food and stuff, so it's sort of
yeah, it's not easy living. Yeah. It's poor, hard land where they are. Okay. We've also got the idea that there's potential for exploitation because Teardrop's solution to Ree's plight initially was, well, cut down the timbers and make the money that you can make from it while it's still there. Okay, so there's potential for the exploitation of resources. Okay. Right, and then once you finish typing that up, I will go over the close read and we're going to have time to just start that. I think. Yep, I've got 5 minutes. It's under that bullet point. So laptops closed as soon as you finish, please. So, when you're writing a film essay, what sort of things do you need to include? Camera shots and techniques. So it's exactly the same in English, and at level 2 it is absolutely something that needs to happen. You need to include the language of analysis. So this is where we bring in your close reading skills. What's my policy on water bottles, Harry? Okay. So it's the same when we're writing an essay at level 2. We've got to bring in our language of analysis. So it's not enough to just explain what's happening in the quote. You also need to be using the technical language that explains the techniques the author is using. So we'll go over that briefly. Home, which in turn inspires a strong sense of place, is not only a physical location but also a mental one. In Wintersbone, it is crucial to respect and in some cases revere the idea of home as part of a family history. So the language employed by Woodrell is ideal for close reading skills. Look at the following quotes. How does it fit with the ideas that I've just said above about this idea about strong sense of place? Identify any features being used and comment on their effect. Discuss in pairs and write an individual answer. So we'll do the first one together just so you can get a sense of how many features we could potentially pull out of this one. So the first one, the furniture came into the house when Mama and Grandad Beaumont were alive, had been in use since Mom was a child, and the lumpy stuffing and worn fabric yet held the scent of Grandad's pipe tobacco in 10,000 dusty days. Right, so let's go through that first line again and you tell me what language features that you can see. We'll go through line by line. The furniture came into the house when Mama and Grandad Beaumont were alive. Language feature in there? Absolutely, colloquial. What is the colloquial word? Mama. What do we normally call a mama? Grandma or grandmother. Okay, so we've got the colloquial language which speaks to us of the place we're at. Now, the next line had been in use since Mom was a child, and the lumpy stuffing and worn fabric yet held the scent. You don't hold a scent, so that's got to be what? Yeah, personification. It's like the furniture has its own life and identity. Yet held the scent of Grandad's pipe tobacco. Language feature, and dusty days. Language feature from that one. To do with dusty days. It could be part of the same language feature.
Alliteration.
Dusty days is alliteration, absolutely. But what about this idea of scent? What are those kind of details called? Sensory details, absolutely. So we've got the sensory details. Now we've also got the construction of the sentence. So if you look at how the sentence is constructed, the sentence structure reflects the 3 generations that have lived with this furniture. So the furniture came into the house when Mama and Grandad Beaumont were alive, 1. And had been in use since Mum was a child, 2. And the lumpy stuffing and worn fabric yet held the scent of Grandad's pipe tobacco in 10,000 dusty days. So we've got it in the 3 parts. So the 3 parts of that sentence reflect the 3 generations. We've got a very long sentence which reflects the kind of long life of this furniture. 10,000 dusty days gives us also the sense that it's not just hard living there in the winter, in the summer it's also hard living. Do we also think it is 10,000 dusty days? Yeah, what's the word for it? Hyperbole, absolutely. So out of that one sentence, we've potentially got four features that we could talk about if we were to use that quote. Okay. So what we're going to do tomorrow is continue with the next quotes, and then we're nearly done with setting.